Well, good evening and welcome to the Arbor Hills Nature Preserve in Plano, Texas. Tonight's exercise is a field test of the BRINYTE HL 18. I want to thank BRINYTE for sending me this light and making the review possible. Now, if you have not heard about this light, its most notable feature is probably the 90-degree rotating head. It can be used standalone, handheld. You might see right here the edge of the two-way clip, so you could clip it on the strap of your ruck. And it can also be used as a headlamp with this headlamp strap attachment right here. The light has a magnetic tail cap. This makes it most useful for work, industrial style applications. Based on my preliminary testing, I would almost think of this as a work utility light first, an EDC second, and a headlamp third. Now, on the subject of headlamp, if you are carrying it, you notice you do have quite a bit of flexibility in terms of angling the light. I think those are roughly 10-degree increments. However, you're going along with just sort of average motion, it's okay, but if you took a hard step down, you can see it will break rather easily. So that's just something to keep in mind. I will point out, going back to this magnetic tail cap, that I did do the refrigerator test and it did not slide at all, even with the headlamp attachment on. I'll try to do another test of that tonight. Peak output 1600 lumen, almost 24,000 peak candela. Pretty decent, although not for long. We'll also see that tonight. Output levels are moonlight, low, medium, high, turbo, direct to moon, direct to turbo, strobe, SOS. You also have direct to strobe. I'm not going to go over the UI. It works exactly as documented, but there are a couple things I want to point out for purposes of completeness. Mag charging here. This is your switch. It's in a nice recessed area, so I found that even if I'm reaching up to my head and trying to locate this and manipulate it, very easy, very generous sized switch. Very easy to double click into turbo. However, single click turns the light on and off. So if you double click and you think single click to get off, that's actually going to turn the light off. You have to double click to get out of turbo, and that always takes you to low. In my mind and in my personal preference, no matter what output level I'm in, if I go direct to turbo, when I exit turbo, I want to go back to whatever output level that I was in. Triple click for strobe. I've never liked triple clicks in general, and I did find triple clicking something that I'll just say you have to get used to on this. So those are just some things for you to think about before you click the add to cart button. I know you're probably very anxious to see how does it perform in the field, how does it work under realistic circumstances, and you'd really like me to shut up and get out there and get to it. Yes, Master, I hear and obey. So here we are at the bridge where I normally do output level test in moon or moonlight. Some people would say this is a bit too much for moonlight. I don't know. You'll just have to make up your own mind about that. As I've often said, I'm just the bozo who gets out here, hangs out with the wild animals and runs the test. Let's move over here, go up into low. Look down over the creek. Medium. Maximum line of sight, probably a good 38 yards. High. And everyone's favorite, turbo. All right, I am working with the light completely handheld, took the headlamp attachment off. We're here at the playground. You may have seen this before in other videos. The scenario is your kids were playing up here earlier, dropped something, now you have to come search for it. What is the lowest level of illumination that can be used to do an effective close proximity search, say within 8 to 10 yards? And this is low, and it's very unusual for me to say that low is overkill, but for this task it may very well be. So I'm holding the light at the exact same level as the emitter of my search and rescue headlamp. I'm kind of trying to show you what this would look like in a headlamp configuration, and this is low. And for just general night hiking in a very groomed path, this is looking surprisingly good. Okay, same exercise a little further on down the path, and this is medium. Still holding it at what I would call headlamp level. For just general night hiking, that's a very respectable output. This is another medium test to allow you to compare against other headlamps and flashlights that you may have seen in past reviews. Line of sight in excess of 35 yards again, and then we pan over here, entrance to the outer loop trail. From where I'm standing, about 21 or so to the sign, and then just keep panning around to where the path curves off to the right, and then we'll extend and go out further than usual. Especially when you take the run time into account for this output, it's I would say it's pretty respectable. This is an area that I normally do a lot of high output level tests. Very good visibility to the first tree line. As I move to that tree right in front of me, and then head off to the second one there at the left, we're now over 100 yards. I can get some visibility to the far tree line. Turbo time. 175 yards to that far tree in the distance, about 95 past the gap, and I can just barely see that far tree. I have the head rotated 90 degrees, so it's easier to slip my index finger up there and monitor heat. And so we're going to look at turbo output and step down. I'm not having any heat issues throughout this entire test, but you can see the overall burn down is pretty aggressive. That's leaving from the fire station that is right next to the preserve. Well, we're up to over 2.5 minutes, and this is looking like a steady state. So I'll probably run it up to about 3, and then we'll go on to the next test. And there you have it, over 3 minutes sustained output in turbo. I've got my headlamp on in 100 lumen flood. While perpendicular to a surface works pretty good, this is the maximum angle that I could get the light at, and it is literally on the verge of falling off. You can see I've got the head rotated medium output level here. So that will hopefully give you an idea on a curved surface. That's about how far you can push it. Okay, one look here in high from the top of the observation tower. You can see the light from the surrounding city. I have a very modest amount of light above me and behind me. I wanted you to get plenty of looks in medium and high. Those are your money modes, so to speak. Those are the output levels that give you the really good combination of runtime and downrange punch. So it pays to take a really good long look at them. And imagine if you were using this as a headlamp. Again, we're looking at over a football field distance, looking back into those trees. All right, well, let me go do a quick wrap up. We'll run through all the output levels one more time. This is the area that I normally do a lot of summaries in moonlight. Low. medium, maximum line of sight over 55 yards, high. Well, my fundamental belief is that once you get past price, features, UI, general suitability for your desired use cases, things pretty much come down to field performance. And I'm going to go ahead and answer this question because it's always the one that I get asked. Would I use this light? And if you've seen any other videos, you know that my primary use case is night wilderness search and rescue. You probably also know that I do a lot of work with compass navigation, so the magnetic tail cap, that's an immediate showstopper. Can't have anything magnetic close to my head or upper body. I really would like to use it with the rotating head, the generous two-way clip. I'd love to have it clipped on the strap of my ruck. Let me go ahead and start panning around here. But that doesn't particularly work for me, again, because of the magnetic tail cap. Of course, it's intended primarily as a utility work, more industrial light. I totally get it. So you could probably envision a large number of use cases. And so hopefully you saw what you needed to see tonight. If not, leave a comment. I'll see what I can do. And very quickly, we'll go one up into turbo. I'm going to shut it down here. And as always, until the next review, thank you very much for your time, and thank you for watching the video.